It's another day, and another games journalist is attacking gamers as well as sharing an animus towards white men. Before we get into this, I'd like to ask you please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. Wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com, and we are talking about GameSpot editor Jessica Cogswell. This is what she posted at the end of March. Man, I don't know how all these incel gamer dudes are expecting games to have hot characters and characters representative of them at the same time. Obviously, attacking gamers as incel gamer dudes. Just obviously, this is the tactic that these people try and go, always trying to attack people's manhoods and things like that. It's just wrong. And it kind of shows the people who are making these attacks what their true character is. And then she goes on, and I guess was reacting to some of the replies that she was getting, excuse me, saying LMAO at these replies, get a life, weirdos. And then she, I guess, quoted, I guess, some of the people that were criticizing her and says, when did we ever say we wanted representation? And then she said, every other time your collective tweets, it's about how woke characters and women are in every role, and you miss cis white men being allowed and things. So obviously using a pejorative there, talking about straight white males. So obviously showing that animus right there as she's attacking gamers. And this is a person who is an editor at GameSpot who is supposed to be covering video games, attacking the very people that she wants to read her website. Just doesn't really make any sense to me at all why you would employ someone who attacks the people you are hoping to read your website. And I think we'll find out here that she probably doesn't really give a crap about gamers in general. She's just doing this to kind of maybe push a political agenda that she has. She's more of an activist rather than anyone who has any kind of affinity towards the video games and video game industries. Because you see here in March 2023, she declared she would stop using the term JRPG and declared that white people should not comment on the subject. This is what she wrote. I've used the term JRPG for years, and honestly, Hannah is completely right, and I'm going to stop. It is a category that doesn't need to exist. Games should be separated by content, not the race of the people creating them. I think this is one of those things we need to do away with. So JRPG, if you aren't familiar with that, it's a Japanese role-playing game. It has nothing to do with the people's race. It has everything to do with nationality from where the games are being made. So just absolutely bizarre comments here. She's probably going to be upset because I'm commenting on it and my skin's white, but because she says here, even if you don't mean it in a negative way, think about how it comes across for a few minutes. And I think you'll realize it feels a bit ick. Sure, we can talk about the differences between Western RPGs and Eastern RPGs, but Western should not be the default for the term RPG. I don't consider it a term. I don't consider a Western's default for the term RPG. I think Japanese role-playing game just means that it is a role-playing game that was developed by people in Japan. And obviously, those are the games that I like to play. And it differentiates them from games such as Dragon Age, which are obviously developed by Western companies, and even things like The Witcher, which is developed by a company out of Poland. So I do think that there is a distinction and a differentiation. I think that comes with like how the games are developed, what the gameplay is going to look like, obviously maybe what the art style is going to look like as well. And I think there's a reason why there was that distinction. And there's nothing racist about it. Nevertheless, she goes on. Also, I think if you're white, please consider thinking before tweeting. Actually, I don't know that it's racist because it's not, because it's talking about nationality. It's not talking about race. And then she goes on. Then promptly delete that tweet and listen to the opinions of the people you're putting in a box. Someone's putting anyone in a box. We're talking about a discussion on whether or not you should use the term JRPG or not. You're claiming that it's racist and you're saying you're not going to use it. I'm saying it's not racist because it has nothing to do with anyone's race. It has to do with the nationality where the game was developed. And then obviously what goes into that. Usually it has to do with art style, gameplay, etc., storytelling, compared to things that are made in the West. So no, we're not going to stop talking about that. We're not putting people in boxes, and we're allowed to have opinions on these things. And you're not going to tell people to be silent on those issues, which is something she tries to do, or she's been trying to do for a number of years now, as we'll get to. In September 2022, she wrote this: "Sorry, but I'm very tired of certain groups of feminists mourning the death of very old, problematic white women while remaining quiet when women of color who had their whole lives ahead of them are murdered. The amount of white women I see constantly mourning the Queen," she's talking about Queen Elizabeth, or RBG, I think she's talking about the Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg there. When there are POC and trans women, there's no such thing as trans women. Those are men. Being attacked and in need of support is giving me a constant headache. So you already kind of see her ideological preferences here. These are the things she kind of talks about quite a bit. She also took issue with the racial makeup of Xbox's leadership team in January 2022. So she's clearly someone who views things skin deep here. Obviously bought into the whole identity politics ideology. She responded to a post here from former GameSpot writer Sania Ahmed, who took issue with Xbox's gaming leadership team. She wrote, "This is barely diverse. This is below the bare minimum." And then Cogswell replied to that, "Yeah, I've been seeing people praise this and question. I'm so confused." Ahmed responded saying, "Yeah, like this how things have looked for many years now. It is not progressive or radical at all. LOL." And then obviously pointing out that she only looks at things skin deep. Like there are 13 people on this board and 10 are white. So obviously taking issue with the skin color of the people on Xbox's leadership team back in 2022. Just completely repugnant, despicable behavior here. And this is a person who's an editor at GameSpot again, supposedly writing about games, using identity politics to attack their leadership team. Truly repulsive. In December 2021, Cogswell claimed that straight white men are able to get opportunities without having a voice or personality on social media. She reacted to this post from Kelsey Weekman. I guess I was discussing, who was a former BuzzFeed reporter, who was discussing a Neiman Lab study. All these studies, I believe, are for the most part fake. They're literally just trying to shape narrative rather than actual quantify reality. But you can see here, this is what Weekman posted. Gen Z demands personality from journalists. And Cogswell replied to this saying, "Okay, this is such an interesting topic to me. I've had so many conversations with friends and even vented about it a bit on private because, like, yes, this is 1000% a thing that exists regardless of if we want it to like it." She then said, "Like I will say, the only folks I see that can get away with not having a voice and personality on social media and still get the same opportunities really feel like cis het white men." So again, using pejoratives here to describe straight white males, or folks who are already established. People will try to tell you to stay off social media and argue its lack of importance and need when I and the majority of folks I know wouldn't have 80% of what we have without it. It's such a vital and unavoidable part of working in media now. Obviously, talking about social media. At this point, we're better served not arguing over if it's a thing, if it should be, and moving on to having discussions on I think she meant on how to enforce boundaries, teach better internet etiquette, and keep folks who have to use it to further their careers protected and mentally healthy. It's very confusing what she's actually saying here. But obviously taking issue with straight white males claiming that they get opportunities when she claims they don't have personality. Just sounds like more animus against white men just because they are white men. I mean, you kind of get the picture that Jessica Cogswell has painted about herself through some of these posts here. And then in August 2021, she called for white people again to be silent on issues she deemed they should not speak on. Again, this is kind of a pattern. As I said before, she doesn't think that white people should be talking about certain issues. It's just utterly ridiculous. But she wrote this: "Hey, quick reminder to white people as a white person, we definitely don't need to weigh in and give our takes on something that is pretty definitively not in our lane. Let's listen to what our black peers are saying and respect their ideas and opinions on the subject, please." I'm not sure how you can respect people's ideas and opinions if you can't actually talk about them. It just doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. And she's obviously just wanting you to be silent and accept the agenda that whatever was happening in August 2021, that the media narrative was probably trying to push. I really don't know what was happening in August 2021 at that time. I don't recall. I'm sure there was some kind of agenda happening though. And then still in August 2021. She also took issue with Typhoon Studios, again, very similar to what we saw with the Xbox leadership team. This time, she was taking issue with Typhoon Studios, the developers behind Journey to the Savage Planet. She posted, "I don't know. I pretty much expected the team behind Journey to the effing Savage Planet to look like a white boy frat house." And then obviously responding to Jason Schreier, former Kotaku journalist who now writes at Bloomberg, who wrote, "It's pretty wild that in 2021, a new game studio still looks like this." I mean, these people are just racists. I mean, absolutely sick and disgusting, attacking these people just for their skin color. In May 2021, she posted, "I know there's a lot going on today. If you're white, we need to sit back and listen. We do not get to weigh in on Black experiences and colorism. A lot of folks are processing, learning, and having conversations. You do not need to center yourself right now. Listen." So again, telling people to not talk about certain issues. Repeated pattern here. This is what the third or fourth time she's done this. "Also, be cognizant of the fact that white people literally create an industry and community that is super toxic and competitive and causes increased tension in marginalized groups." So she's blaming white people for creating an industry and community that is super toxic and competitive. I mean, absolutely repulsive, disgusting, and vile. And then she says, "Know our role in this, have some grace, and sit down." I mean, just evil stuff here coming from this woman. In January 2021, she posted, "White people, please do not just be effing tweeting today. We need to own up, look around, and see what we can do to help. This is more traumatic for literally every single person around us than it is for us." Obviously, the protest at the Capitol. And she says, "And stop sharing and quoting, retweeting stuff from hateful people or violent images. Your friends know they don't need to have it effing blasted in their face through every tweet they see." So again, trying to dictate people's behaviors here. Just wrong. In November 2020, she responded to a post from former IGN writer Natalie Flores. Flores wrote this: "It is truly beyond me how there are women of color who last more than 5 years in games journalism." And Cogswell responded, "Gamers are effing bullies and don't even deserve the voices they desperately need to hear. POC, especially women working in this industry, have thicker skin than any one person should need to have, and it sucks that's some prerequisite at this point. If you're a white person, especially one with reach, a community, or in charge of an outlet, hold your community to higher standards. So effing tired of seeing my friends bullied by racist, transphobic, misogynistic, body-shaming a-holes." So again, kind of showing who Jessica Cogswell is, kind of that embrace of the identity politics ideology. Obviously, it's gender ideology as well. She's talking about quote unquote transphobic. It's feminist ideology, which I've talked about numerous times, that has its roots are demonic in origin. The founder of modern feminism was literally trying to commune with demons as he was founding the ideology. So, but it's not surprising. I mean, all of these people kind of hate gamers, have these animus towards white males for whatever reason. They've clearly been brainwashed. Something's happened to them in their past, probably were wounded by certain individuals, and now have applied that to everyone that looks a certain way and lash out at that. And it's just really sad that these people are like this. We need to pray for them, but we also have to oppose them as well. So we can pray for them, but we can also oppose them as well. As a Christian, we want to pray for our enemies, but that doesn't mean we just roll over and let them beat us down. That's not how we operate. We have to stand up and be courageous, and we have numerous examples of that. Obviously, Jesus Christ being the biggest one, sacrificed his life on the cross for our redemption. But there's numerous martyrs and saints that also were able to show that they would stand up for their principles, even unto death. So we have to oppose this stuff and continue to do so. And also, I think drawing a light onto this type of stuff, which I'm doing right now, is good. And I think the more light that we have on this, the better, so we can expose this stuff and know how to fight against it, and know not to give money to people that hate you. So I suggest not going to GameSpot anymore. But let me know what you guys make of what Jessica Cogswell has to say here. Her attacks on video gamers, her animus towards straight white males. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, but to always speak the truth.